What's going on, everybody? This is Achilles LBT coming at you with a brand new video, and in today's video I will once again, like I have done many times before, be putting a spotlight on my favorite hero in the game, Sonya. And the thing that I'm going to do a little bit different with this video is this is a Hero League game that I played last night, and I'm not fully sure 100% if I'm getting shafted on my matchmaking or not again. I know quick match has been really rough these past few days ever since I hit rank 15, but I'm trying to find like a way to work around that in the system where I get my designated like bad lobbies out of my system in quick match, and then like if I get like a win or two in a row, I'll go over to Hero League and maybe they'll put me with people that will take the game seriously. I don't know if it's actually working or not. If it is something that's a loophole, I'll definitely be sure to update in a separate video. But this will be a little bit different in that I will not be actively commentating on what's going on in the gameplay. The gameplay is just there as a means for something you to watch. But like the whole point of this video, as I hit play here, the whole point of this video basically is revolved around like where the Sonya character may or may not be headed, like as far as balancing and things like that. For people who don't know, anybody who's watching this video that has a Twitter account or keeps track of Twitter, if you're not familiar with the name Dustin Browder, you really ought to start making yourself familiar with the name, because he's one of the developers on Heroes of the Storm. And the reason why I bring him up is because, and this is something that I just got privy to a few days ago, and I tested it for myself, and I actually got a surprising result. But he actually responds to people as much as he possibly can. Like, if you ask any kind of question, there is actually a very, very good chance that he will actually answer. So I saw other people on forums commenting on this and saying the same things, like they were, praising, like they were singing this guy's praises because he answers a lot of questions. Like, he doesn't shy around topics or anything like that. Even things like you might get lucky and stumble upon information that's not made public yet sometimes. But to test it out myself, I was curious. So like I commented on one of his tweets about something, and I asked him straight up, like, I know that Sonya got buffed recently in that last patch. Technically, she got buffed. I personally don't think it was anything major. I mean, the extra health is okay, I guess, but I don't think it was anything that was game-changing for the hero at all. I feel like I haven't changed my style. Like, nothing they changed made me alter the way I play. I still play the same exact way. I still have the same exact opinion about Whirlwind. Like, it's still only good against minions and so on and so forth. I digress. So with that in mind, I asked him if there was any plans to, further tune up Sonya. And the reason why I asked him that is because if you remember the original patch notes that came out with that last update, well, the last major update. I'm not talking about a hotfix, by the way. I'm talking about an actual patch. If you remember the patch notes, they said in the notes about Sonya in particular that they were looking to tune her up. Not that they were done tuning her up, but that they were looking into tuning her up. So I figured, well, what would it hurt? What would it hurt asking them if they were still actively looking to tune her up? So I flat out asked them, like, are there any more plans to do any more tuning up of Sonya? And I flat out said, having her health akin to conventional tanks wouldn't hurt. Me personally, I don't think that's the only way to kind of like make her a little more viable. And believe me, if you're familiar with my videos, you know damn well that I no part of me feels like Sonya is an underpowered hero, like that she's not viable in any scenario. I'm the last person in the world who will say that, because just off of like the way that I play and things of that nature. But at the same time, there is plenty of room for growth. There is plenty of room for improvement. And I'm not blind to the fact that a lot of the things that I pull off when I play as Sonya, there's a lot of it is like, me compensating for some of her shortcomings. Like, I just know how to use her, so it makes up for the fact that she's kind of like lacking in certain departments, especially when you consider the fact that she's listed as a warrior. So And for people who are new to Heroes of the Storm, if anybody happens to be watching this, like, and seeing this game for the first time, Heroes of the Storm, like, straight up and down, anybody that's listed as a warrior is expected to be a tank to a high degree. So that's kind of like where I'm getting at with this hero that you're watching in this video in particular. She's not exactly a conventional tank. She really can't soak damage as well as like some of the top tier warriors in this game, but she makes up for it with a high volume of damage. Like, in all actuality, she should be listed as an assassin more so than a warrior, but I digress. So yeah, me personally, I think there's a lot of room for growth with this hero. And getting back on track, Dustin Browder actually responded, and not only did he respond, but he didn't take a long time to respond either. So I was shocked. Like, I wasn't expecting to get a response to begin with, and then not only did I get one, but I got one like an hour later, which is crazy. And he flat out said that the balance guys, because they apparently have a team specifically dedicated towards balancing heroes. The balance guys have had conversations about Sonya in particular, but that he wasn't sure about the details about what they're planning to do or stuff like that. So what do I take away from a comment like that? The big thing that I take away from that is that they're still looking to tune her up, which is great. It's just fantastic. And that's exactly what I put in my response. Like, you know, obviously I thanked him for replying to it because he didn't have to. But it's awesome that they're still looking towards tuning the hero up. Now, does this mean that that's going to happen anytime soon? Fuck no. That absolutely does not mean that it's going to happen anytime soon. And it could be a little while. It could be a long while for all we know. But the fact remains they've had a conversation, so at least we know for sure they're not done with where she's going to be. And I have every faith in the world that if they make any changes, it's not going to be like the opposite effect. It's going to be something only to like advance her and make her better. And that's just how I feel about it. But I mean, there's a few things kind of going in Sonya's favor as far as like upgrading her and making her a little bit better. For one, her popularity, if you go by hot slogs, her popularity percentage is really not that high. I think it's in the 30s. So she's really not picked all that often, which if these guys are numbers guys, maybe they attribute that to the fact that she's not a strong enough hero that she makes for a popular choice. And her win rate as a whole isn't all that great. The good Sonya users out there, we're in admiration. So like, yeah, like there's a few of us that have a high win rate with her or whatever, or an acceptable win rate. But the hero as a whole does not have the greatest win rate in the world. So that's another thing that's kind of playing in her favor. And this is kind of a two-part subject, which is why like I actually felt the need to like make this video. But don't underestimate the effect that Artanis is actually going to have on where Sonya may end up, because I'm gonna wait a little while because there's still more I want to say about like where she can improve before I jump over to the Artanis point of this video. So things that they could actually do to improve Sonya and make her a little more viable. Honest to God, like, you may laugh if you've seen my other videos talking about her and the things she can do, and you heard me kind of touch up on it a little bit earlier. Honest to God, it's not just raising her health to be like on par with like the Muradins of the world or the Johannas. I don't think she should have Johanna status because Johanna is by far the best tank in the game. I don't even think that's debatable. But health, she has so much health, it's ridiculous, and I do not think any other hero in the game should have that, because then Johanna loses something that makes her a little bit unique. So I do think that Sonya should be a conventional tank in the sense that she should start with 1,000 health points, however you want to call it. I think she should have 1,000 health points at the start of a game, just like a conventional tank, but that's just me. I think that would actually make a noticeable difference. If you remember, I mentioned it before, in the last patch, they buffed her from 930 starting to 950, which is like, all right, you know, and then they buffed the amount of health she gets per level too, which is like, all right, that is actually meaningful, but the starting health was like, it wasn't really anything. It didn't do anything for me. Like, I don't feel like that's really a noticeable difference, just upping it 20 points. I mean, anybody's like basic ability could just wipe that out in the same rate that they did before when she was a 930. So like, I didn't really feel like it was the biggest difference in the world. So that goes without saying that, yes, her health could be a little bit higher, and maybe that would help her be a bit more of a tank. But obviously the biggest thing that they could improve on is the damage rating of the Whirlwind. The Whirlwind is one of the easiest moves in the game to deal with. It really is. If you have a stun hero, if you have any kind of stun whatsoever or a way to interrupt, and Sonya comes out spinning on you, she's a guaranteed kill. A guaranteed kill almost 100% of the time against a high level player. So that's the biggest reason why players feel like that, combined with the fact that she comes off a bit squishy for a tank. Those are the two biggest things going against her. Like, that's what drives this whole perception that she's a bad hero, because she can't take damage as well as other tanks, and her Whirlwind is easy to interrupt. Now, that's a big reason why I'm able to have success with Sonya, because I don't spin on heroes. Unless like I absolutely have to, I avoid it at all costs, and that's why I don't have any problems with stun heroes at all. Like, I don't have any issues with Johanna. I don't have any issues with Murden. I don't have any issues with ETC. None whatsoever. I play just fine against those guys, but that's only because I compensate by not using the Whirlwind. Now, if the Whirlwind's damage rating was higher, and this is the reason, there's a reason why I'm only bringing up the damage, because they tried their best to up the healing. They turned it from, like, they turned it down from minions from 25% to 20%, and then up the hero intake from double to triple the amount. Yeah, that's well and good, but again, the healing is not viable enough to make you like last through a tough situation. And if you combine the fact that it doesn't make you last with the fact that it's easy to interrupt, it's an unusable ability. Like, against high level players, they're gonna steamroll you if you try to Whirlwind on them like that. It's just not happening. So whatchamacallit, I'm sorry, all that pinging was actually getting me annoyed. I didn't realize how much pinging was going on in this game. But yeah. If they up the damage of the Whirlwind, that would automatically up the healing amount, because the healing is dictated by how much damage you're doing on the Whirlwind. So if they had it to the point where the Whirlwind was actually something that opponents were afraid of, that would be a game-changing thing in itself for Sonya. That would be enough. Like, a lot of people make the mistake coming into Heroes of the Storm when they use Sonya. They make the mistake of using the Whirlwind, thinking that it's the same. It has the same effect as Garen's spin move from League of Legends. Garen's spin move is actually really, really good. Like, it actually can damage champions. But Sonya's Whirlwind, it does nothing. Like, it doesn't even phase people when you use it on them, even if you land the whole thing. The only time it really bleeds down opponents in all actuality is when you have another hero hitting the same hero at the same time. That's the only time you really notice it. Other than that, if it's one-on-one, the shit isn't noticeable at all, and the healing isn't noticeable either. So, in my personal opinion, if they were to up the damage of the Whirlwind altogether, I'm not saying make it something crazy. I'm definitely not saying that, because I do not want Sonya to hit an overpowered status where she's no longer fun to use. But that's one of my biggest things about Sonya that I love about her. Every time I have a good game with her, I feel like I'm earning it, because she's not the most overpowered character in the world. Because she has a high amount of damage that's offset by the fact that she can be wiped out easily if you don't play carefully. So it makes it all the more, I feel like, more accomplished when I have these games where I don't die, you know? But, whatchamacallit? Yeah, I think that's kind of the direction they need to go. I'm not going to say that they should redo parts of her kit. Do I feel like that would help? Absolutely, but I don't think that that's the answer right now. And honestly, I don't know what they would be able to do with her kit to, like, kind of change it. And let me not say kit necessarily, because I don't think her base ability should be changed at all, but, like, more in her talent builds. Like, I don't know what they would be able to change from her talents that would make a noticeable difference without coming across as overpowered. But now that I got that out of the way, let me flip to the other side of this argument. Artanis, like, he's obviously, like, the medic is coming out next, sure, which I'm a little disappointed about. I mean, I'm not hating on the medic hero at all. I think the medic is going to be fucking awesome. But I was just looking forward to Artanis, and I thought I thought they were going to bring him out after Rexar, which is not the case. But I don't know if I've said it on a video before, but it's been my thought process this whole time. I feel like it's almost guaranteed off of what they said, the one little tidbit they said, that Artanis' base is going to be like Sonya 2.0 or Sonya Jr., however you want to put it. He's going to be exactly the same as her. He's going to be listed as a warrior, but he's going to be more of a bruiser than anything. Like, his damage is going to be insane. And like his and I think he might actually be able to soak damage better than Sonya. Like, I think he's going to be like an evolved version of her. So why is that a good thing? Why is that a good thing for Sonya? Me personally, I feel like if Artanis is the kind of hero that kind of further diminishes her relevance, they have to find a way to bring her back into the light, basically, bring her back into relevance, bring her back to a point where people will use the hero. I don't think that any hero in the game is going to be left in the dark. Yeah, Stitches is probably the worst hero in the game right now. I do not think that it's going to stay that way. Diablo is another terrible hero right now. I do not think he's going to stay that way. I think at some point they're going to start bringing up these options. Right now, this whole wave clear warrior thing is all the rage. And yes, they could go the route of nerfing Leoric and Johanna. They could go that route. And Rexar, they could just nerf all three. Personally, I really, really, really hope that instead of nerfing those three heroes, they just buff some of the other ones and bring more variety, more options. You know, like, at the end of the day, what's the point of adding all of these warriors to the rosters if you're still going to be using only like 2 or 3? Like, it makes no sense. Like, you'd be better off, you know, scaling up some of the other ones so that you have more variety. And like, not only would it make the game more fun to play, but it would make like esports tournaments that much better to watch. Like, they're already fun to watch as it is, but imagine how much more fun it would be if you actually see different picks coming out. You're not seeing the same hero matchups every single game. It makes it that much more like interesting. So I definitely think that Artanis is the next one. Like, he's gonna be like the next big thing, like as far as like the damage warrior goes. And I'm hopeful that whatever kind of build he has, whatever kind of power he has, like when you use him, I'm hopeful that if it is at a crazy point where it actually makes you rethink using Sonya, that'll be enough of an incentive for them to actually like buff her a little bit more, so that she's on par with like with all the other warriors in the game. She's definitely, I wouldn't even say she's on par with all the other warriors in the game damage-wise. I would say she's past them. Me personally, I feel like she's got the highest damage of any warrior in the game. She's right on par with damn near any assassin out there, in my opinion, especially if you build her for it. But like the warriors, there's no competition, in my opinion, on that front with damage. But she definitely lacks in every other aspect of being a warrior. And I think, like I said, I think Artanis coming out may be exactly like that little bit of a nudge that they need, because I really, really, really feel like Artanis is going to be like a very similar character to what Sonya is now, but a Protoss, obviously, a StarCraft variant. And that's what has me excited. Like, if Artanis, like, I have no doubt that Artanis is going to be awesome, but that's what has me excited, because once he comes out, like, I'm definitely going to have him day one. The thing I'm paranoid with Artanis is if they do the same shit like they did with the Monk, because the Monk I was so excited about Karajim, and then they came out with him at the same week of a PTR. Like, I had to wait another week to get him, because I didn't want to like unlock him. I didn't have the money to buy him the first week, and I didn't want to use my gold and then chance not having him when the following week came up. So I have a bad feeling that they're gonna do the PTR thing again the week that when it's Artanis' turn to come out. But I'm looking forward to it, because I'm gonna get him, and then essentially when I go into Hero League, I could just show him like from the onset, and if somebody else takes him, like if he's a bruiser and people have no problem with it, and I show the pick and somebody in the other team takes the pick, I can just revert back to Sonya, because I'd be playing the same role with the hero that I've like perfected almost, you know? Like, I feel like I've really, obviously, like, I've learned everything that I need to learn with Sonya. Can I still get better with her? Absolutely. But I know how to get my game off with her. And that's really, there's nothing else I need to learn on that front. So, a lot of things up in the air. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's actually pretty funny that I'm still getting shot at the end. Just to showcase the stat line for this game, we ended up going 23-0. We led the team in hero damage with 32,000. That's what I'm talking about. That's what Sonya does, man. She's a damage dealer. She's all about that life. So I think Artanis is definitely going to be the next one. He's going to be the next big thing on that front. And it's going to make for fun times. And it should be a similar playstyle because he's going to have two Void Blades too, or whatever they're called. Like, I know his are blue. Like, they're a different element, I guess, than Zeratul's. But I'm thinking that his base variant is going to be 2 blues. But if the trailers for the StarCraft Legacy of the Void expansion are any indicator, I think he not only has a one-on-one with Zeratul at some point in the storyline, but he actually beats him, and I think he steals his blade, and he uses both the green and the blue. And the reason I bring that up is because I think that would just be like a cool alteration to his skin. Like, if you get a Master Skin Artanis, I think it would be cool if they had that variant with the blue and the green blade instead of both blues. I'm just thinking outside the box. I don't know if they're actually going to do that at all. Maybe they have something else completely different in mind. But I just think that would make the most sense. Like, why not? Because he's probably, like, from what I understand, the blade colors do matter. Like, they're 2 completely different, like I don't know what better word to use than element. Like, I'm not familiar with the StarCraft lore, but from what I've read about it, they're 2 completely different powers. So the fact that he has both is kind of significant. So, like, if you have that kind of significance, why wouldn't that be like a Master Skin idea, you know, with Heroes of the Storm? But I guess we'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I'm excited that Sonya is actually being talked about as far as, like, further tuning. So the way it looks like she can only get better, which is exactly what she needs. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, I appreciate the support. This is Achilles LBT. That's Achilles with the Z. Remember it.